Let's talk about warped priorities. There's one thing that trade unions are always right about, and that is their constant and strident demands for workplace safety, for worker safety, for strong and consistent action to make sure workers make it through to the end of their shifts. Many jobs in heavy industry, primary industries, mining and construction are inherently dangerous, and tragically, sometimes sons, husbands and dads, and yes, it's most often men, lose their lives at work. Many more are seriously injured as well, of course. In Queensland, there have been 4 deaths in mines this year, with a 27-year-old man, Jack Gerdes, killed in a central Queensland coal mine on the weekend. This was the 6th death in a Queensland coal mine in the past 12 months. Yet, astonishingly, it's been revealed by the Courier Mail that a committee charged with providing mine safety advice to government has not met since March. And the reason the committee has been on hold? It has been struggling to meet its gender quota. This is not a joke. While the government and its agencies fiddle about trying to make sure they have enough women on the committee doesn't meet. Safety issues are not considered. We now have a sense of urgency after so many precious lives are lost. Have you ever heard of a more ridiculous and disgusting case of twisted priorities? Now, of course, this is not why people have lost their lives. No one's trying to point the finger of blame in such a blunt and silly fashion. But this does point to how governments and companies can focus on the wrong issues and forget to get the basics right. Just get the best people onto the committee, get the best possible worker safety advice going to government and industry, make workplaces as safe as possible, and guess what? It does not matter a damn if all the committee members happen to be blokes or women or transgender for that matter. Just get good people and get going. It's about worker safety, not virtue signalling quotas. Now, the biggest thing to happen in the week I was away was the government getting its full tax reduction plan through Parliament, with the Labor Party deciding at the last moment not to try and block it. As you know, right from when they lost the election, I told you not only this is what Labor should do, but also that this is what it would do. It was always unthinkable they would stand in the way of these tax cuts, and their arguments about not wanting to approve tax cuts 5 years down the track never made a skerrick of sense, which of course didn't stop a lot of people at the ABC and elsewhere in the media taking them seriously. Anyway, the tax cut package is through. That's good for the government, good for the economy and good for you. But why did Labor damage itself for so long resisting the obvious, the logical and the inevitable? Its reluctance only serves to cement in voters' minds that Labor is the party of higher taxes, that Labor doesn't like cutting taxes. Too many people in Labor, in the media and even some sections of the Liberal Party have convinced themselves that voters had started to drift to the left. No, they were wrong. Mainstream voters are smart. Mainstream Australians know they pay enough tax. They know there's an economic cost to higher taxes that hurts everyone, and they're rightly wary of big government. Record numbers of taxpayers now have submitted their tax returns early, keen to get their hands on a $1,000 rebate as soon as possible. Those first cheques will be sent out later this week, we've just been told. But now we're seeing a similar story unfold as Labor argues, debates, resists and delays decisions about its own policies for increased taxes. Labor took to the election a plan for higher taxes on real estate investments, on share market investments, on personal income and on capital gains. Wow, talk about slow learners. They need to wipe the slate clean. Admit that higher taxes are not the route to economic salvation or to political revival. The sooner they come to this position and abandon their tax increase policies, the more likely they'll be believed by voters. We expect to hear from Treasury spokesperson Jim Chalmers in the next half hour. Let's see if he's come to his senses.